and the story is just getting interesting. Do not go anywhere.
I am Nora Naitore Muredhi, a priest with the National Independent Church of Africa in Meru County, and I am among, let's say, the few women that we have as priests in NICA, and I'm very proud of that as NICA, we now have women as priests and even in other leadership positions in the church. Well, it was not easy to start with because there are very few role models, there are very few women leaders in the church, and so I didn't have women that I could say I could look up to, women that could really advise me, hold my hand, and even show me the way on on the process of becoming a priest. So that was one of the challenges. The other challenge is the patriarchal nature that we have in the church, whereby you find that when it comes to decision making, in the past we had some sort of sidelining when it comes to women. Women were not given the priority to make decisions, and when it came to conflict resolution, especially in the rural areas, the churches that are in the rural areas, there was some kind of alienation where people felt that if there is a conflict in the church, it would be better for a man who is a priest to be involved in resolving that conflict than a woman. And so for me, I always felt that being a leader in the church, I may not be as productive as I would be, and I may not be given the position to exercise my powers as a priest or to carry out some functions or practices in the church. I think those are the two main challenges that I faced. The other challenge is that when it comes to the scholarships for women to take up theological degrees or diplomas, you find that there is a lot of competition out there, because most of the people that are applying for these scholarship positions to take up theological education, they are men and women are few. And according to the socioeconomic setup of the society, you find that these men have been molded from when they were young, and so you find that they qualify. They have a higher probability of getting the scholarship compared to a woman. And so for me, I had to really finance my own education, that is in college, so that I could qualify and get the right qualifications to be a leader in the church. What we say in church is that there is light to life for everyone, and we say that God created both man and woman to be equal. And as a church, we normally say that Jesus came so that we can have life and have it in full. However, there are areas where women's rights have been violated in the church. For instance, when it comes to leadership, I think that is the main area. But again, as a church, we are not alienating ourselves from what is happening in the society, because whatever is happening in the church is also happening in the society. And so issues to do with SGBV, gender-based violence, as a church, we are aware that these vices are taking place in the society and affecting our members. Some of them are perpetrators of GBV and others are victims. And so as a church, what we are doing is ensuring that we hold dialogues, the interfaith dialogues with the community, so that we can explain to them the rights that are there for women. And also, we also offer psychosocial support to the victims of SGBV. In our churches, we have shelters where we keep these people who have been victims, and most of the time they are young people, so that they can be counseled and given the support that they need. And even economically, they are supported. And so we agree that in the community now we have a rise of SGBV cases, gender-based violence cases, whereby we have cases of even people committing suicide, a man committing suicide or a woman, and before doing that they're even killing their own children and their partners. And so as a church, we are cognizant to that, and we are coming up with so many mechanisms to see how can we come in, how can we work with other civil society organizations so that we can curb the developing cases of SGBV in the community. My advice to other church leaders is that, one, they need to recognize that women can be leaders and equipped with the right information, with the right knowledge. When they are empowered, they can really lead just like men. And churches need to come up with alternative rites of passage for the young girls, especially in areas where we know that there are rising cases of FGM. So as a church, we need to come in and create alternative rites of passage for the women. And then again, in our churches, in our community, we have people living with disabilities. We also need to program our activities in the church. We need to program our services so that even when we are speaking, we address the people living with disabilities, we address their needs, and even create awareness to the larger community that we have these people and we really need to take care of them.
My name is Celine Osoko. I am from Nigeria. What has been happening here is a physical conference of women in religious setting, Christian particularly, talking about women's rights in religion. Women in religion have not been, their rights have been truncated because there are many issues, factors militating against women in religion having some rights or equal rights with men. Number one is the culture. African culture is always what is called patriarchy, that women are seen as not equal with men. Women are seen as people with substandard, can I say breadth? Let me say breadth, because in some families, they prefer male children to female one. So it will look as if the birth of a woman in a family is like not good enough. So they wish it is a man. So those are the cultures, some of the issues underground with no basis in culture that encourage subjugation of women. Putting women subordinate position in homes, in the churches. It plays in churches because Christianity is another factor that promotes women being second class, substandard to men, because our religion in Africa is really based on culture mostly, because you see what plays in the outside the church, repeating in the church, because it is the same human beings in the church and in society. So you see that the issue of culture and Christianity are one of the fundamentals that promote women inferiority, that give rise to abuse of their rights. I'm a leader in a sense that I have been working in the ecumenical setting for all my life, from my youth age till now. So I am a leader in my own capacity because I design proposals and I run projects for Christian organization, the Christian Council of Nigeria, the Young Women Christian Association, and other civil society organizations, and then sometimes churches, because they invite me to help them run some programs. And my position is like program coordinator for the Christian Council of Nigeria. And I also belong to the Ecumenical Disability Advocates Network, which is a program of the World Council of Churches. And I also have my Divine Foundation for Disabled Persons, through which I reach out to persons with disabilities. The right of women not being addressed is mainly another cause is that women do not have leadership positions. They're not in positions of authority and power to be able to decide or to be able to say this is what we want and stand firm and have it implemented. That is one of the reasons. Another reason is that women are not in those places where decisions are taken. In the churches, women are not given the fundamental to be at par with men. Like in theological institutions, women are not ordained because they didn't pass through the process of being ordained. Women are not, it's like they use the Bible to support that women are not supposed to be at par with men. They say, women, submit to your husbands. So who are you when you submit to your husband to come to this public place like church to claim equal rights with your husband? The same husband the Bible says to submit to. So those are the fundamentals that really support what the treatment women receive. Yeah, we have been doing this advocacy for a long time. Advocacy that men should give women opportunities to prove that they are the same creator by the same God, who didn't say because you're a woman you should not come to this side of heaven. The essence of church is heavenly race. Church is a heavenly race. But I have not seen a place where God say, woman, you should go to the left hand side of the heaven. Men, this side is for you. And if I understand that all is equal before God, and the angels, when we leave this body, we become angels. The body is the same. I mean, the angelic body realm is the same. I haven't seen this is male angel, this is female angel. So men should always know that this things we are doing is in this planet. It doesn't live beyond here. And being a man, you just to show pompous superiority, which doesn't show that we are Christians. Christ came to humble himself and was able to pay for our sins on the cross of Calvary. He didn't say, I'm not paying for women. I'm not because they are women. So men should always emulate Christ, that it is a heavenly race we are living. And Christians is supposed to live like Christ-like life. That is the essence of Christianity, Christ-like life. And if you have that Christ-like life in you, there's no need to think that you are superior to your fellow human being or to tell a person, go and sit down. You're not supposed to talk where I am. You don't have to sit on this seat because you're not a man, because you're not a clergy, or all those stuff. That is one thing. Another one is to give women leadership opportunities. Like in my country, there's issue of women not, this fundamental issue I have narrated made the council where I work to say, okay, let us have a women's week. Women's week will give women this platform to be on their own, not to at least always mix with men as if they're dragging for power, but let these women be able to form and be strong on this. So we have women's wing of the Christian Council of Nigeria that have given women platform, because it is a separate leadership from the Christian Council. They have their own leadership, they have their own structure, they have their bylaw that guide the operation, they have their leaders, they have their account, they have office. So they operate at their level, and that has given so many of them the pedestal to be able to reach to a certain level. Now they're moving forward because some of them have been ordained, some of them have passed through religious institution and they are ordained in their churches, and they're coming up like that. They have been trained, they're sensitized, so they know their right now. That some of them are the ones talking here. This is what we want. This is what we want. This African adage in my place say, when all of us gather to urinate in one place, the urine will foam. But if it's one man, it may not foam. But collectively, we can move. That is the essence. Collectively, we can achieve our objective, and we speak with one voice. Yeah, that is number one step. You don't know what the person passed through. You just imagine, based on what you have read, or what story you have heard, or what you imagine in your heart, and you judge the person. That is stereotyping. Well, because he's disabled, they say disabled person cannot walk. End of story. You lock your mind against the person. You don't even think that, let me see if he has the potential. Let's see what he can make. Because people with disabilities are created in the image of God. And because they are in the image of God, there must be talent. Every individual have a unique talent given by God. Why don't you allow the person to prove that? But no chance for that. You just make up your mind that is not good for anything, except unless it's delivered. If you're not delivered, you cannot come to the church to even talk. If you want to talk, what is even wrong with these people with disabilities? So they want us to vacate spaces for them. Some of us who have opportunity, if you go out to talk to them, what is she even talking about? What is she every time inclusion, every time? What is even wrong with these people? they think we can vacate this place for them. But I want to emphasize that they should please get close to persons with disabilities, make them your friends, even the ones you have in your house. Try to find out what stuff the person is made of and try to encourage the person to move forward. Because anybody who is with disability, God has a reason. There must be something unique in that person which should be tapped. Everybody that has disability, some have disability at various stages in their life. Some are born with it because of genotype or whatever, or environment where the person, when the mother was, when he was pregnant. Somehow out of sickness. Africa is too poor. Malnutrition is the problem. Poverty is the problem. Hunger. People go to bed without food. Malnutrition can lead to personal disability. So it compounds issues. And yet, society should look into these things and find out the cause of that disability before you judge the person that is because of sin. If it is because of sin, everybody will be disabled. Because the Bible says all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Don't classify so many people. Don't personalize them because they are disabled. You personalize them to sin. Somebody you personalize to sin, how do you want the person to live? What spirit, what soul will make the person to live every day of his life, of his or her life?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My name is Mercy Kendi Bothomi. I am a gender equality advocate. Women are disadvantaged because from this conference that we've been having, I think you have heard that people have quoted the roles and responsibilities given to women, and there have been those roles like cooking tea, serving something, washing the church. Maybe they're also the church school teachers. It's mostly hard maybe to find a man as a church leader. So yes, they have been left out a little by the responsibilities given, and that's why we are advocating for more leadership roles for them in the churches. The responsibility lies to us all, because first for the leadership roles in the church, some need to have training, and we're encouraging the church leaders themselves to work into capacity building these women so that they're able to take up maybe theological courses, take up any experience in the church that could make them capable and competent to hold those positions that they want. But also for the women, we would like to maybe also encourage them not to shy away from taking up these roles, because mostly for the positions that are high, you'd find women themselves volunteering a man and not themselves. So it's important for them also to encourage themselves and have the confidence to take up the roles. Youths are avoiding the church because one, it's not a safe space for them. We have talked about issues such as sexual and reproductive health rights, gender-based violence. When your own church has been encouraging some of the violences occurring, maybe domestic violence in the name of putting up a nice picture for you to look like a person who is successful, you have to have been married, you have to act in a certain way without realizing that there are a lot of challenges for the youth out there. So once the church recognizes those challenges and creates a space for them to come and worship, fellowship, make friendships, and by friendships, meaningful friendships, then yeah, the youth would definitely come to church. But given that they have made it look like it has a certain standard for the youths, then it would automatically maybe make them a bit rigid on joining or actively participating in the church and religious activities. In a religious space, whatever it might be, or a spiritual space, there are certain things that you definitely have to fit into. Yeah, but far from that, as I said, we have to recognize that the world has changing times. The youths are living in a different community than the one we were in maybe some years back, and now we have more neocolonialism. We are eroding our own culture and embracing new cultures. We are having differences in what we knew is our sexuality, and such things are coming up. So yeah, I think the church has its space to do as it pleases and give people the set rules and regulations for you being part, because again, you can't always carry everyone along, but that is the intention of the church. However, there has to be a certain conduct or ethics that would not make the others uncomfortable for them to be part of the church. Well, we're looking for a church. Basically, it's what you want, what your heart wants. I believe some of us choose, the youths, we want a place where the music is lively. We want a place where people can dress without much judgment. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I would say it's where your heart searches and where it feels comfortable. I know that sounds very vague, but for me, where you get your spiritual nourishment and where you feel these people are really speaking into my heart and into whatever that is lacking to in your life that could build you, then that would be the right place. But there are other places you would go and feel that maybe too focused on offering on something specific, and they're leaving out your nourishment, which is what you require from a church setup. So yeah, follow your heart, and just know what it is you're looking for, which gap it is that you want to fill in your life, and which church would give you exactly that. The things we are talking about cannot happen if we leave the job to those who are there already. We need to also come in and tell them, yes, I am a young person, and in this church I do not feel comfortable because of this and that. Yeah. You could approach your leader and tell them, the way you're leading us is not this and this, but without your voice and without your participation and engagement, then it leaves out building the society that you would like to see and you would want to fit in. So mine is a call to action for the youths and all the young people out there. Please, please, please be part of it. Take part of your lives. When you take part, you really get connected and you really drive what suits you. So yeah, I would like to encourage the youths to be participatory. Yeah.
Wow, I cannot add more, but everything good that has a beginning must come to an end. And tonight, I just wish I could go on, but then again, there's always next time. I've been your host, Maureen Waititu. See you next week, same place, same time.